Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad Heasby. Today, I have the pleasure of talking some NFL draft football with Ben Neuwanner. You guys know him. And then our special guest today, analyst Emmett Kelly. Emmett, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Brad.
Yeah. So, Emmett, you are involved in numerous circles around the league. You've heard a lot of GMs talking in Indianapolis just throughout the entire winter and into the spring here. What are you hearing specifically with the number one overall pick? Give us some insight.
Well, right now, I think the two options for the Panthers right now, now that they traded the pick to the Bears, I think the two options right now are Anthony Richardson, who you see on your screen right now, and then another guy, CJ Stroud from Ohio State. I think Anthony Richardson, he's an athletic freak. He's got natural throwing motion. He's a cannon. But CJ Stroud, if you watch the college football playoff semifinal against Alabama, he lit it up and put him on the radar for the number one pick in the draft. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Bryce Young.
I've heard similar things. Bryce Young has also been mentioned. Yeah. Before the Bears traded the pick to Carolina, I also heard the possibility of Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. Of course, the Jalen Carter legal issues have put that in serious doubt, and now it seems like the Panthers will be going with the quarterback. That's why they traded up to number one, but we shall see what happens. Ben, if you had to guess today, who do you think goes number one?
Well, I'll tell you who I think goes, then I tell you who will or who should go. Actually, I'll flip that. I'm going to tell you who I think should go first. I think it should be either Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. I think those two guys have been, for the majority of their college careers, the two guys that most people would look at and say that's the two best quarterbacks in the draft. If I had to rank them, I'd go CJ Stroud 1, just because of his ability in the pocket, incredibly accurate passer, and he still has the ability to move. Pretty athletic guy. And then Bryce Young, really athletic, good passer, not quite as good, I'd say, as CJ Stroud, just from an accuracy standpoint, but really athletic and a winning player. But then, I don't know, Anthony Richardson, all of a sudden, this guy's been rising faster than any prospect I can remember since like Trayvon Walker randomly last year, just shot to number one. I don't know. I like his athleticism, but I still don't see him as a number one overall pick. Emmett was telling me that Frank Reich loves Richardson. His combine was amazing, but I would be wary of picking him if I was a team with that top pick like the Panthers. I think he's a big risk.
It is a risky pick, but I think a team like the Panthers they've had a quarterback since Cam Newton. If anyone's going to be Cam Newton, it's him.
That's true, although
very true.
Cam didn't get them
I've seen some comparisons to Malik Willis. Of course, Malik Willis was probably a projected first or second round pick. Ended up sliding all the way down to the lower third round of the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah,
I think AR-15, as people like to call him, I do think he is a better Malik Willis. But like, to tell you the truth, because I don't see him going in the lottery. I mean, I do see him going in the lottery, but I don't think he deserves to go in the lottery. I don't think he deserves to go in the first round, to tell you the truth.
He had some.
Personally, I think he's more closer to like a guy like Justin Fields for the Bears, just because of his athleticism, and he's just a cannon of an arm. But I feel like he's more natural thrower of the football, and I feel like he can get out. He's fast. I think he's faster and can do more in the open space than Fields can.
I mean, he had some major.
I mean, obviously, he's not. I don't think he's as good as Fields right now, but I think he has the capability to do so.
He just had major accuracy problems at Florida. I mean, he had games where completion percentage was below 50, like a lot of games. So
some of the games
things to work out for sure, but we'll see.
Emmett, you specifically work with the Bears. You have some connections with Poles in the front office there. Let me hear some maybe bold predictions. I know you have some top guys you like, and you've been telling the front office you're all about. Who are some of those guys?
One guy who I think they're going to target majorly is a local guy, Lucas Van Ness, who went to Barrington High School, defensive end out of Iowa. What I think they're going to do, I think if they draft him, I think they're actually going to have him bulk up and move over to the 3 technique and have him play there at like 280, 285. I think he's a very raw player, but I think he's going to be a good player in the NFL. Another guy is Peter Skoronsky, another local guy who went to Maine South High School and Northwestern. Before the news today, Bears signing Nate Davis and then 2 other linebackers, TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. I would have said Skoronski would be one of the top like options for them. But now, in my personal opinion, I'd rather have play him at guard than tackle just because of his shorter arms and just the better fit at guard. But I think he'd still be a good pick at that spot. Those are my two guys that I would like to that I project the Bears to pick at that spot.
And Van Ness didn't start a game in college. He's a project pick, so he would not immediately start for Chicago most likely. He is more of a 2-3 year guy, get him ready.
He'll mostly start as like a rotational guy, like Dominique Robinson did last year and Travis Gibson, those guys. But I think he could have be something bigger.
For sure. I know you have some wide receivers you're high on. Talk us through them.
Well, one guy I'm high on, but I mean, for the Bears, that might be out of the question right now because of the DJ Moore acquisition. But one guy I really like is Zay Flowers from Boston College. He's a very shifty guy. He did a lot at Boston College. He was very efficient, and I think he could be a successful player in the league. And another guy I really like is Charlie Jones from Purdue, who's going to be probably a 4th, 5th rounder who we get in later rounds. And I think he's a good player who can get in and out of breaks, and maybe he's a little like Hunter Renfrow from the Raiders right now.
Great route runner. Route runner.
I was very confident the Bears were going to take JSN until DJ Moore trade, of course.
Yeah.
Where now they have Claypool, they have Mooney, they have DJ Moore, Pringle, they have Velus Jones, who they took on day 2 last year. They have a lot of guys in this room. I don't think they need another wide receiver necessarily. I think they could use some more offensive linemen and maybe a running back before they take a wide receiver, but you never know. The NFL draft, anything can happen. Emmett, I know you have a few cornerbacks you're very high on, one in particular. Talk about that.
So one of my favorite players in the draft, his name is Jalen Jones, cornerback from Texas A&M. I love his fit for the Bears as a cover 2 corner in the Eberflus Allen Williams scheme. If you look at his combine stats, he wasn't his 40 time was slow. I'll just put it at that. He had a 4.57, but not great. But
not good at all.
His 10-yard split was a 1.48, which was one of the top splits. So he was one of the top like splits for corners. So he can get out. But he also had a great 3-cone time, which is he also had a great 3-cone time. But what I like about him is he's tough. He's big and he's tough and he's physical and he stops the run, which you need in a cover 2 corner. And he's not afraid to tackle. And I feel like he would be a great fit opposite of Jalen Johnson, and they move Kyler Gordon into the slot.
Well, sorry there. For sure. Ben, I know you have some corners you're high on as well.
Hey.
Talk us through that.
You're going to toss a name out there that's not a first-round guy, but, elite speed at the combine. I'm just going to throw out DJ Turner, Michigan grad. And, he wasn't looked at as a day 1 guy. Some people had him day 3. But with that 4.26, that's the type of speed that no one even came close to matching out of the corner class this year. So I don't know if he plays that fast on tape, I'll be honest. And he wasn't always the best at Michigan. But with that speed, and he's still an athletic guy, not undersized, but he's not huge. I don't know. I'd love to see a team take a shot on this guy in the 2nd round. I know the Bears have late 2nd round picks. Like, what are we, 54, you said? 61.
They have 3 picks with like a 10-pick range, like 54,
so I don't know.
61, and like 64, I believe, something like that.
If they don't go corner early, maybe taking a shot on a guy with 4.2 speed is a possibility there. And I'm a Michigan guy, as everyone knows, so it would be fun for me.
For sure. To wrap the video up, we'll talk about the general NFL for a second. Emmett, you know a lot. You have some insight that we don't, that the average person doesn't. Talk us through some things you're hearing, some maybe big trades, sleeper picks, like just some bold predictions you may have.
One thing I may have right now is that the Jalen Carter is gonna fall far in the draft. I think he's gonna fall farther. I think he's gonna fall past the Bears.
Whoa!
Just because
We lost Emmett there.
We lost him for a second. What he was
the character issues.
There we go.
And
Emmett,
I don't think
we lost you for a second. Could you repeat that?
So I was talking about how I think Jalen Carter's going to fall far because I don't think the Bears are going to take him just because of the character issues and obviously we all know the car crash incident. And because I know last year polls took George Pickens off his board just because of character issues. So I don't think he'd be willing to take the risk with Jalen Carter. And I think he might fall into the teens maybe, but who knows?
Emmett, do you think that Georgia has a character problem? Georgia football. There's some rumors. They've had multiple arrests.
Yeah, like Jalen Carter, Stetson Bennett a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was crazy. You know what? I don't think so, but every program there's going to be incidents like these. I mean, it's not just dedicated to Georgia, so I don't think they do. But I mean, if this keeps on repeating itself, maybe something might have to be addressed within the Georgia locker room. Or
sounds right. That
program.
Sounds right.
So
Ben, I'll finish it off with you. Do you have any bold predictions or bold takes?
Honestly, guys, the draft's still over a month away. I haven't done as much. Emmett is way more well-versed on the NFL draft than I think either Brad or I is at this current moment. So I don't want to hit you guys with a take that's totally out of left field. So I'm not going to give any takes at this point. But I think it'll be exciting to see what happens. I think the big weight was whether the Bears would trade that pick. And now that they have, for Chicagoans at least, there's a little less stress around the draft.
Especially now that they've addressed a lot of concerns with the offensive line and free agency with Nate Davis, and then two linebacker spots.
And exactly. As well as Bears have been active. They've been active before the draft, so I think that some of the concerns have been at least addressed. And I don't know. I think it'll be now more fun to see what happens on draft night because, like Emmett says, best day of the NFL year, baby.
They're filling spots now. They're filling spots. They're not filing in people to fill spots. So defensive line for sure. I think the secondary could use a little bit more help. They could use another corner, a safety or two, probably just one safety. But offensive line still a concern. But it's exciting.
I will say something actually. I still not a huge fan of the receiver room. I know you guys are saying it's great, it's fine. Claypool, Mooney.
I agree.
DJ Moore. I
agree. But
you don't have that number one ace guy yet.
I think if they take, I agree. DJ Moore is not a top 20 receiver in my opinion, but I believe that I think they have a solid receiving core and they have enough to show. They have enough. Justin Fields has no excuses now.
It's not a need anymore. It's not a need anymore.
For sure. I would have hoped personally they would have taken the 2025 first or second, whatever it was, and just drafted JSN.
That's understandable.
That's just where I'm at, or even a receiver in the second with one of those picks, maybe like a Zay Flowers.
Really?
So it is what it is. We'll see what happens. That's what makes the NFL draft so fun. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. From Emmett, Ben, and I, good night.